Zombicide Invader, Abominations. That's what we're going to explore. That's what we're going to look at in this vlog. We're going to build a Tactica checklist to explore how to deal with this unique Xenos on the table. And if you're coming from a previous incarnation of Zombicide, I love Modern, I love Black Plague, there are some things that are the same, but there are a couple of key differences that can really take you by surprise. And in a way, that's a really fun part of the game, to be taken by surprise or have things shift in the moment. But we want to have an answer. We want to try not to be caught unaware. So the first thing about the Abomination is the fact that when it spawns, it is the most powerful Xenos zombie in the game. It hits the hardest, and it has the most life. So from that perspective, you are going to have to deal with it as it moves forward, in addition to having a way to effectively kill it. What we see are workers and seekers with 1 wound, tanks with 2, abominations with 3. You're either going to need a weapon that can deal and isolate that damage and area affect a weapon, or you're going to be able to have to focus fire to take the Abomination down. You need to score a successive number of hits reliably. This doesn't make it impossible to kill. The Abominations are a little bit easier to kill straight up than, say, in Black Plague, where you need an area affect a weapon to destroy it. Alchemist Fire, Dragon's Bile, something of that nature. But where this leads to a difference with Invader is that the Xenos, the zombies, tend to spawn quicker in Invader. And of course, there's a little bit of a swing back and forth. When you shoot at the Abomination, even though you can, in theory, kill it with regular weapons, if you have enough volume of dice, it might take you 2, 3, or even maybe 4 activations as you level up to be able to do that. What that means is you're not using activations to then kill the rest of the Xenos coming towards you, the rest of the zombie aliens coming towards you. So it still has that danger to it. Where things change with Invader is as the Abomination moves forward, it spawns mold. There's these tiles that as it moves onto a space, it corrupts it with mold. It destroys anything in the room. So right away, if it's an oxygen chamber room, that's done, that's gone. Could cause you to lose the mission, although that is very, very rare. If you're a soldier and it takes out an armory, then it removes that armory. You can't search. If it's a room with an objective and that objective is mission critical, like maybe rescuing some survivors, or it's a prototype weapon you want to grab, it gets destroyed. So it has this effect of not only dealing with the miniature, but as it moves through, dealing with the consequences of how it destroys. What this means is if it spawns, some of the maps are pretty big, if it spawns on the other side of the map, yes, you're safe from it attacking you. It's not going to attack. Even if it gets an extra activation, it'll move. It's still way out there, but it's slowly eating away. It's slowly destroying the complex. Now, here's the biggest shift, the biggest change, and this is where the Abomination really comes into play, really comes into power. And then we're going to talk about experience and trying to keep that in line. As it spawns mold, this is one of the reasons why you really do want to kind of kill it quickly, even if it's not, say, mission critical yet. There are spawn cards in the deck that spawn in mold. So you're in the spawn phase and you're like, okay, we're going to do down here, this spawn point, this jump off point. You pull a card, spawn a worker or a seeker on every mold tile. So what this means is this whole chain suddenly just spawns a ton of Xenos. And if it's a tank, or more importantly, a seeker, the compatibility in previous Zombicides would be a fatty or a runner. The seekers as runners, they move very, very fast. So if it spawns a chain of 3, 4, 5 of them, all of a sudden they're just breaking out. They're just moving. That's the real danger of the mold, in that once you kill the Abomination, those mold zones stay in effect unless you have ways to burn them with a flamethrower. But you have to have the flamethrower, you have to have the canister, and that's not always the most reliable or easiest thing to come by. So we do want to deal with it quickly so we don't have these mold points, these jump-off points ready to face us, spawning additional stuff in addition to the spawn points. Now let's talk about experience, and this is where the duality of eliminating it is important, but can get you into trouble or can be a challenge. You get 5 experience points for killing it. And Invader's a little different than the other series in that you have a sentry gun and you have a bot that you can control. Sentry gun puts out good volume of dice, shooting naturally, it's a turret, and the bot is kind of a mixture of close combat / shooting. They can be controlled by remote or through skills. They can be destroyed, but when they're destroyed, they don't count for mission victory or defeat. So you really want to use these, and if something has to be expended, you want this and not one of the actors, because then you lose. So often what you'll see is using these to help kill the Abominations, or in addition, maybe killing some Xenos, lesser Xenos, and then your heroes, your actors, kill the Abominations. You get 5 experience. If the same player takes out 2 of these Abominations, they're leveling up very quickly. Now all of a sudden you're jumping to the next stress level, power level. Yeah, you're going to level up, but the rest of the party is still a little bit behind. And now you jump from that blue to that yellow spawn, and then into the orange, and then into the red as you move up. More Xenos spawn, more things activate. It's very challenging to say, well, if I kill them as soon as I can as they spawn out, that's good because I'm keeping the mold pits down, but I'm also now potentially dealing with +5, +10, +15 experience. And I had this in a recent game where it was a spawn point close to a sentry gun, and I was using the sentry gun. Now, this was a kind of an interesting occurrence because the Abomination spawned 3 times over the course of like 10 or 12, 13 turns. So a lot more than average. And I did shuffle the cards up. I do every single time to make sure there's no bias in there. I had to take it out with the sentry gun. I had to. And that experience goes to the person controlling the sentry gun. And I only had one person that could control it. So they became godlike, essentially by playing a video game, target practice, wall to wall down there, and leveled up. And now I had to quickly try to level up the rest of the actors just to get that +1 action, to get that moving, because we moved through the next threat level. So a very, very interesting, spicy addition to the game. But even after you get used to dealing with the Abominations, you have to watch out for the mold pits that they spawn.